Welcome to Marks British Airways Fleet Update, looking at short and long-haul fleets.
Thanks for joining us on the British Airways Fleet Update. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click for notifications.
I thought I would just tease you with this view of the Boeing 747 Negus aircraft here at Cotswold Airport in Kemble. And welcome to another British Airways Fleet Update. Well, I'm lucky enough today to be on one of the former British Airways 747-400s, Charlie India Victor Bravo, here at Kemble Airport in the Cotswolds. This is the former first class cabin, still with the 14 first class seats in place that were in this prestigious position at the front of the Jumbo, the 747. The British Airways at one point had 57 of them in the fleet. Well, it's really nice to reminisce. It's great to be on the plane, but we're not here for that. We're here to talk about current developments across the British Airways fleet. So let's crack on and see what's been happening in the last few days across the British Airways fleet. Well, big news, big news to kick off. We won't start working our way through the British Airways fleets until I've told you the headlines of the British Airways fleet order announced on Friday morning here in the UK. IAG announced their first quarter results, and of course the trade deal announced in Donald Trump's Oval Office gave us a big clue, because their Commerce Secretary simply couldn't keep his mouth shut and probably tipped us off about something that wasn't due to be revealed. Well, let's just be clear where we are before this announcement. There's 7 787-10s on their way for British Airways, 1 with Rolls-Royce engines, 6 with GE, and there's 18 777Xs or 777-9s that have already been ordered. Now, what British Airways and IAG have told us, it's interesting actually, it's all on the IAG website. Despite having ordered the biggest order of new aircraft on the long-haul fleet in many years, British Airways have put absolutely nothing about it on their website this morning, which is slightly peculiar. But the IAG website says that there's an order made back in March, which they'd not previously announced, which is for an extra 6 777-9s with GE engines and an extra 6 Airbus A350-1000s with Rolls-Royce engines. So they're coming towards the British Airways fleet as well. And then there's a new order announced this morning for 32 Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner aircraft with GE engines. So that's a massive order, isn't it? 44 aircraft. Of course, this is going to support the withdrawal of the 777-200 from the British Airways fleet. Now, many of you will perhaps be doing your mathematics as I'm taking you through this news, and you'll be going, well, hang on a minute, you know, British Airways has got, what, 43 777-200s, and they've already got 18 777Xs on their way. So what do they need 44 aircraft for? Well, clearly they're planning an expansion of the fleet. There's a possible question mark over whether the 777-300s are going to be replaced, although some of those are not very old at all. All of this warrants a more in-depth investigation, a more in-depth feature, and of course that'll be coming to Marks Trains, Planes and Trams very soon. But that's the big news this week. The British Airways fleet order, it's removed a lot of the questions, but it does pose some more questions, like what will the configuration of those aircraft be, which will be the Gatwick based aircraft, which will be Heathrow, what will have first class. We'll talk about that in the future. I want to concentrate now on the normal fleet update, having got the exciting stuff out the way. On the Embraer 190s, Lima Charlie Yankee Romeo remains at Exeter under maintenance. Lima Charlie Alpha Delta returned from its maintenance at Exeter on the 7th of May, and one of my viewers kindly explained the rather odd routing via Madrid and Luton, which was down to the aircraft being used on a football charter. well, anyone who knows me knows I don't do football, so great to have that explained for me. Lima Charlie Alpha Bravo flew from London City down to Exeter on the 7th of May, the crew returning with that aircraft Alpha Delta that I just mentioned. Very quiet on the Gatwick based Euroflyer fleet. Echo Uniform X-Ray Hotel remains up at Glasgow since the 27th of April. Echo Uniform Victor still on lease to Euroflyer. The guys over at Flight Radar 24 have actually put that aircraft in their database now as a Euroflyer aircraft, but if you check on the G-Info Civil Aviation Authority database, it's still shown as BA Mainline. Slightly confusing, but probably Gatwick is where that aircraft will be based. 2 Titan Airways wet leases, same as last time, but there's the update for you on the screen. And then on the Airbus A319, A320, A321 fleets out of Heathrow, a little bit quieter with things settling down for the summer. Echo Uniform Oscar remains at Glasgow. Echo Uniform Tango at Malta, Echo Uniform Papa at Madrid, and Echo Uniform Sierra at Dublin. Echo Uniform Yankee Papa flew across to Malta for maintenance on the 3rd of May, and November Echo Oscar Papa, the 321 at Madrid that's been there for maintenance, that returned to Heathrow on the BA 9270 on the 3rd of May. British Airways has got a lot of work to do, as I've told you before, training its pilots. So Echo Uniform Juliet headed off to Shannon on the 7th of May. Overnight stop there, circuit training all day on the 7th and the 8th, back on the afternoon of the 8th with quite a lot of work done at Shannon. New deliveries, nothing to give you positive confirmation on in terms of aircraft movements, although we are expecting to see one of the Airbus A321s from Hamburg arrive shortly. More updates on that next time. X-Ray Whiskey Bravo Kilo on the long-haul A350 fleet remains over at Malta at the Lufthansa Technik facility. Airbus A380 fleet had a bit of a glitch with X-Ray Lima Echo failing prior to departure on the 3rd of May on the BA 11. That was cancelled, as of course was the return trip on the BA 12 the next day. The aircraft didn't actually resume operations for some time. It's expected to come back in on the 10th of May, but we shall see with the Miami flight. Very quiet period for the 777 fleet. Sierra Tango Bravo Echo returned from Cardiff on the 5th of May, straight into business that evening on the BA 57 to Johannesburg, which actually left late awaiting its arrival. Don't know what's going on with Victor India Whiskey. They keep inputting a flight for that aircraft to operate from Heathrow and then scrubbing it at the last minute. We've been waiting since the end of April to see that aircraft return. They're clearly having some problems getting that work finished off, completed, getting the aircraft working through the tests and approvals, so we'll wait and see what happens. Victor India Foxtrot flew down to Cardiff on the 5th of May for maintenance. And on the Dreamliner fleet, the Boeing 787s, which is going to become a much bigger fleet, isn't it, with this morning's announcement. But Zulu Bravo Kilo Lima on the 787-9 fleet returned from Abu Dhabi on the 4th of May straight into traffic, strangely enough, back to Dubai. So it ended up just a few miles away from where it started. Zulu Bravo Kilo Mike replaced it with a flight out to Abu Dhabi the same day. Zulu Bravo Juliet Bravo came back from Cardiff from its maintenance on the same day, 4th of May. Big day for 787 moves. Zulu Bravo Juliet Golf remains at Cardiff. We're assuming that's there for Club Suites fitment. Zulu Bravo Juliet Foxtrot is expected to be the next Dreamliner heading to Cardiff once the 777 Victor India Whiskey is released. Zulu Bravo Kilo Golf on the 789 7879 fleet flew down to Cardiff for maintenance on the 5th of May. We don't think that's anything to do with Club Suites fitment. And then Zulu Bravo Lima Lima in the final stages of testing, certification and sign off at Charleston in South Carolina. It's all nice and smartly painted in British Airways livery. The registration applied. Hopefully we'll see that aircraft soon. So the stored 787 position looks like that on the screen. 6 aircraft currently out of use in the longer term, 3 at Cardiff, 2 at Heathrow, 1 at Abu Dhabi. So we'll see how that progresses. Slightly better position than we've seen. Thanks very much to everyone for watching this update. Do like the video, engage with your comments. There's been some great comments in recent times. Once again, thanks to everyone on the Flyer Talk site for their hints, their tips, their information, their pointers to head off on more research for myself. And I'll catch you here on Marks Trains, Planes and Trams for another update on the British Airways fleet very soon. So that concludes this British Airways fleet update. I hope you found that useful. If you've got any thoughts on what I've said, do drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so here on Marks Trains, Planes and Trams from this former British Airways Boeing 747-400. I wish you farewell, and I'll catch you here on the channel for another video very, very soon.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe and click the notification button so you don't miss any of the great trips Mark has coming your way on this YouTube channel.